All right, guys, it's time for a battle that I think is going to be very interesting. The Nokia Lumia 635, the Sharp Aquos Crystal. Let's see how it turns out. So I've got plenty of budget devices or phones that just don't cost a lot but are packing some serious power. Now the Nokia Lumia 635 is a device that I've always ranked higher than some high-end devices. So now we've got the Sharp Aquos Crystal that comes along, and let's see how it matches up against this device. So first thing I want to do is I want to go over the specs of each device, because this is a showdown, and on the techie side you might want to hear it, but end users can benefit from this as well. So starting with the cameras, on the Sharp Aquos Crystal, you get an 8 megapixel camera with LED flash, and it records at 1080p, has HDR and panorama. On the Nokia Lumia 635, you get a 5 megapixel camera, and it has a 1/4 sensor inside, so it's going to be some really good pictures. I'll put this camera up against some good ones, and it's got some really good ones. But that's it, and it only records in 720. It doesn't have an LED flash or anything. In the camera section again, you have no front-facing camera here, and you have a 1.2 megapixel over here. These are different operating systems, so I'm not really going to focus too much on which I think is better and all this. But pretty much this is kind of like a stock experience Android, and this is obviously Windows 8.1, which doesn't have any bloatware if you don't want it to. So, processing power. These phones have the exact same processors. Snapdragon 400, 1.2 core, 1.2 gigahertz Cortex A7, and a 1.2 gigahertz Cortex A7. 305 Adreno in both of these. So what's different? They both have 8 gigs of RAM, or excuse me, 8 gigs of memory on board. But this one has a little bit more out of the box. The 635 has a little bit more memory out of the box. It has just over 6 gigs available, and this one only has 4 gigs available of that 8. This one, on the other hand, has a 1.5 gigs of RAM, and the Nokia has 512 megabytes of RAM. Now, we all know that Windows Phone doesn't require much RAM at all. However, they both have an SD card slot, and they both can take 128 gigs. So, physically, how do they appear? Well, here's where you get into some major differences. As you can see here, the Aquos Crystal is almost the same size as the Lumia 635, but it has a 5-inch display, and there's no borders along the top and side. It just has this chin down here where it stores most of its components in the camera and the sensors and everything. On the other hand, the Nokia Lumia 635 is a 4.5-inch display, and it comes in, it's an LCD display, and it comes in at 218 pixels per inch opposed to the 720 display over here. This is about 141 grams, and this is 134 grams. But the Lumia feels much lighter than the Aquos Crystal, because there's a debate on whether or not the borders on this phone and the frame of this phone is plastic or metal. I think it's metal because I have it in hand. I don't read what's on the internet and believe everything I see. But I think these borders are metal. If someone can confirm that it's not metal, put it in the comments. I'd like to know, because I've searched everywhere and I can't find out whether this is metal or not. All right, so what else is distinct about these? This actually has Harman Kardon audio, and I got to tell you, it is amazing. So one difference you'll find between these two is there's a speaker up here for listening to calls. Well, this entire screen acts as your speaker when you're on a phone call with the Aquos Crystal, and it is much clearer than the Nokia Lumia 635. It's the direct wave technology is what it's called, and I got to tell you, if you have not experienced it yet, you need to go check it out, because I think you'd probably be impressed with a phone call on this device. Also, this device can do HD calls. And so there were some people that asked about making calls on this device in the comments. Well, let me tell you, the calls on here are fantastic, and it far exceeds the Nokia Lumia 635. So spec-wise, they both have continuing with specs. They both have LTE, which is a plus. The Nokia Lumia has a removable battery, though, and this does not. The Nokia Lumia has a lower amp battery, but it has a removable battery. So that's a huge plus. They both can do GPS and the basics. So let's kind of get into this. I think I've gone over a lot of specs already. So turning the screens on, they're both on auto bright, and there's obviously a different layout here. Now this is on auto bright for both of these, but you can see the LCD display is obviously going to come across extremely bright on camera. So what I'll do here is I'll cheat a little bit and I'll turn the Nokia up to bright. So it'll come across, I can show you, because if I turn this one all the way up on bright, it's going to be really bright. And you know, you don't want it to be too bright. So just to give it a little bit more fairness, you can actually see the Nokia there. So when you get into brightness over here, you can see it's on auto bright. All right. So it is turned up all the way up on the Nokia, and it's not, I'll go ahead and demo over for you. It's not a problem. So you can actually see. You can see the difference. This is just amazing. This is a TFT capacitive, and this is an LCD. Now, LCD screens are known for being really bright, but this Aquos Crystal, as you can see, has a fantastic display. It is just unbelievable how bright this display is and how well it does in direct sunlight and outside of sunlight. In low lighting situations, it really does a great job of adjusting. So display wise, I have to give it to the Aquos Crystal. It looks a heck of a lot better than the Nokia Lumia 635, and it just looks better. Not much more I can say about that. So the display screen definitely goes to the Aquos Crystal. Now let's get into some build quality. Build quality on the Lumia, obviously you've got this matte feel. I've always loved the way the Nokia Lumia 635 felt. It feels fantastic in the hand. It's small, compact, rounded corners, makes it feel very comfortable to hold. Now, how does it feel up against the Aquos Crystal? The Aquos Crystal may have this square build to it, but since it doesn't have borders along the top and sides, you can reach all around this entire screen even with a small hand, and you will be good to go. Feel in hand, let me give you the measurements on here because I didn't talk about the thickness. Grab my iPad here. Thickness on here is 10 millimeters for the Aquos Crystal and 9.2 for the Nokia. The Nokia is a little bit shorter and a little bit narrower, just by a smidgen, though. You really can't tell because it bowls out a little bit. So thickness, they're about the same, and also it's just a little bit shorter, and they're about the same in the wideness, the width of it. So in the hand, though, I hate to say it, but the Aquos Crystal, and it's not just because this is some new device and it's exciting. The fact of the matter is, the chin on the bottom, I've gotten questions about the chin. You don't even notice that it's there. Unless you're just looking at it continuously, you're going to be so focused on all the screen and real estate that you're getting, you can't even tell it's there. And it actually makes it feel pretty good in the hand. So comfort in hand, build quality, obviously the Aquos Crystal has a much better build quality. It actually, I love the Nokia Lumia 635, but it just feels like plastic toy, like a plastic toy next to the Aquos Crystal. I don't know any other way to say it. Again, I need to confirm whether this is a metal frame on here. I don't know. I've been checking and I really can't find anything to support it. But nonetheless, if it's not metal, it feels like it's a metal frame on here. It is just a fantastic device to hold in the hand. And I think if you pick one of these up, you will fall in love with it, especially if you're a person who likes Nokia or the build quality of the 635. You're going to be extremely impressed when you pick up an Aquos Crystal. No lie. So the edge goes to the Aquos Crystal for build quality and body and feel in hand. Let's move on to the next thing I have set up for you here. It's going to be sound quality. Now here's where the Lumia wins in the speaker quality. The Lumia has a small speaker on the back right here. And so does the Aquos Crystal. But this speaker on the Aquos Crystal is not very good at all. I won't call it horrible, but you really can't hear it that good when they're laying flat. And I'll go ahead and head over to YouTube real fast, and I'll go in the web browser, since the Nokia has to be in the web browser as well. And I'll play something with them laying flat. And let's see here, let's search. And then let's go here. I'm going to play the same video on both of these. So first I'm going to play it on the Aquos Crystal. Hey guys, the wait is over. I actually got my hands on the sharp Aquos Crystal. Let's get into this. Oh shoot, sorry guys. Hey guys, the wait is over. I actually got my there you go. On the sharp Aquos so Crystal. Here's the Aquos Crystal's speaker laying flat. All right, so that's the Aquos Crystal's speaker laying flat. Now here's the Nokia speaker laying flat. Got my hands on the sharp Aquos Crystal. Let's get into this. You can already tell the difference. Yeah. There's no denying that the Aquos Crystal speaker in that light on speakerphone is nowhere near matching the Lumia 635. So sound quality from the speaker goes to the Lumia 635, but there's a but. This has Harman Kardon, and when you plug in a headphone, let me grab a headphone real quick. All right, so I got a headphone here. When you plug in a headphone, all of the Harman, this phone comes to life. You'll see all of the symbols appear. Clarify turns on. Live stage turns on. You can even turn on the on-screen equalizer. I got to tell you, the sound quality from Harman Kardon is mind-boggling. It is unbelievable. So yeah, the speakerphone and the external speaker sounds better on the Nokia. But when I compare the two with headphones, there's no denying that the Aquos Crystal is the better of the two. So I'm going to label that one a tie. Because there's 1 and 1, and there's really not much you can do with that. So 8 megapixel versus 5 megapixel. We all know the megapixels don't really count. But the picture quality on the Aquos Crystal is pretty good. It's pretty. No, not, this Lumia 635 has a fantastic camera for it to be just a 5 megapixel. Takes great video, takes great pictures. But I have to give the edge to the Aquos Crystal because it does have an LED flash and it's an 8 megapixel. And in real world testing, it actually takes better pictures. And that's just kind of one of those things. It just looks, the pictures come out a little bit more clear. The video is definitely sharper because it can shoot 1080p. So once again, the edge goes to the Aquos Crystal. Web browsing on these, they're using different web kits, obviously. So web browsing on both, I'll call it a tie because, you know, they both are fast. I could turn on Wi-Fi or I could do it over LTE. It doesn't matter. But to my surprise, LTE on Boost is actually really, really fast. So web browsing on both, no need to do any kind of web browsing tests. But the Aquos Crystal and the Lumia 635 actually have great web browsing experiences, and I like them both. As far as processing power, I went over this in the specs. They actually have the same processor, and here's where the Lumia shines over the Aquos Crystal, because as you can see here, this is a stock Android build, but there is just something about Android that slows down, seems like. The Aquos Crystal is pretty much a stock experience. The only thing you cannot take off is that boost zone and that mobile ID. When you first buy this phone, there's going to be a bunch of boost things that install. You can take them all off, except for the mobile ID and the boost zone. But again, processing power on the Lumia feels smoother. This is very fast and fluid. But, you know, Windows Phone just feels so smooth compared to Android. It's just, I don't know. Windows Phone still kind of takes the edge on that. This is super fast and blazing fast. They have the same processor. But, you know, the fact that things run in the background on this phone and they don't turn off, it kind of takes away. So I have to go into the task manager and close things out, you know. But with Windows Phone, I really don't have to do that. I can leave stuff laying in the background and it won't do anything. Look at all those things that are open and it's still very, very smooth. So kind of a point up for a Lumia 635 as far as speed and fluency of the operating system. So call quality for the Aquos Crystal is where it dominates the Lumia 635. This is called the digital wave or something like that technology, or direct wave, I'm sorry, direct wave technology, where it uses basically the vibrations of the screen and projects your call to you for sound. I've never experienced this before, not before this phone, I don't believe. So what you get is the entire screen as your speaker. And when I tell you there's crystal clear calling, it's super clear, no kind of distortion, nothing. It even has this noise cancellation microphone back here. But you know what? The sound that you're getting from the person that you're talking to is just unbelievable. It is just so nice. And the Lumia, it's a nice call quality, but the Aquos Crystal actually sounds a heck of a lot better. No denying it. So the last thing I want to talk about is the battery. And this is one that I guess the Nokia just can't be dethroned on. This has a 2040 milliamp battery, and this has, I think, an 1830. Yeah, 1830. But this battery lasts, and it's all about the way that Windows Phone is optimized. It's optimized so much better than Android. It's just unbelievable. This phone right here can last for days. This one, you'll get about, I was able to get 4 or just a little over 4 hours of screen on time, and it needed to be charged. And you know, you have to charge it by the time you end your day. So there it is. Nokia takes the battery section, of course. So how do I feel about both of these devices? I think Nokia Lumia 635 is one of the most solid built and most attractive packages that you could possibly get. You can find this phone for as low as $99, and on special I've seen it for $79. This being new to the market, the lowest you'll find it is $99, or excuse me, $149. But they're offering a port-in bonus where you port your number in from a different carrier, and you can get it for $100 off. So that makes the Aquos Crystals even more attractive. But I will say this. A big downside to the Aquos Crystal is that it's only available on the Sprint network, Boost, Virgin, and Sprint. So with that being said, the GSM portion of this, if you put a T-Mobile SIM card in here or an AT&T SIM card in here, it'll work. But everything else is still Boost. It's SIM locked to Boost. The Aquos Crystal, to me, is a very nice shining star. I think the only downside is it being locked over to the Sprint towers with Boost and Virgin and Sprint. Other than that, it far exceeds my expectations, and I think it's a lot better, and it has actually dethroned the 635 as one of the top budget devices. So there you have it. That's how I feel about these two. You tell me how you feel about the devices and whether you're going to go ahead and take time to pick up an Aquos Crystal, because I can tell you, if you get this, you're going to enjoy it. I will see you guys in the next one. Finally, someone has taken down the beast, the 635. See you guys in the next one. Big N Tupac. You like my wallpaper there? Isn't that sweet?